Brockman. I'm a junior at Pomona College. I am a psychology major. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm 20 years old. I identify as a woman, as a daughter, a sister, a friend. I identify as a college student. I identify as a person from Arizona. I feel like very much attached to Arizona. Being from Arizona has most defined my life. Not that Arizona is like that exotic of a place or that, I don't know, that interesting of a place, but definitely, I mean, everything I've ever known has been in Arizona. My whole life I've lived pretty much in the exact same house. So yeah, I feel like just being from Arizona has shaped everything in a lot of ways. I mean, those are the people I meet, the environment I'm in. So probably being from Arizona is one of the really big ones. I guess like as a person of color, but not any specific color. I think that being like a person of color, although I don't think it's shaped, I think it's shaped me a lot more now that I've come to college. I picked those identities as the ones that have most influenced my life just because of my personality and what I value. My mom has always she calls me a sensitive child. That's her term. She calls my sister a hunter child, and I'm the sensitive child. Apparently it's some kind of child psychology thing. I don't know. So I guess generally I'm just like pretty touchy-feely, pretty social. So yeah, I don't know. And I feel like those identities are sort of like manifestations of that, kind of. Then also my race, just because it's been something that I've always kind of like been perplexed about for my whole life, and so that's definitely influenced me. Also kind of having like so many various cultures in my life. Arizona's pretty heavily white, so a lot of white culture, but then I always usually go to Chicago every summer. Then I'm like in a pretty much like solely black environment, and so it's been interesting like always kind of having like that dichotomy growing up. My mom was really big in the Obama campaign in like 2007 and 2008 when he was elected for his first term. She was like the district coordinator for our district in Arizona. And when he won the election, my dad cried. And I was like, Dad, why are you crying? Like, he was like really happy about this. And he was saying that when my mom was pregnant, he really wanted sons, and he has me and my sister. We're both girls. And obviously, and at first he was upset, but then when we were born, he said he was so glad that we weren't boys because he said there was nothing worse than to be a black man in America. And so that was like, whoa, this is really intense, Dad. And he was crying, and then he was crying because he realized like, wow, like probably the most marginalized, like one of the most marginalized like identities in like our lives is like now in this, it's such symbolic, it has so much symbolic meaning. And then being a friend, yeah, I feel like that also just plays into me like just liking to be social and really liking to be around other people. So I'm just really valuing my friendships and putting that above everything else. So just sort of my disposition is what makes me value those things. Everyone in my family cooks. Like, it's never been like, my mom cooks. We all kind of cook. I decided to just kind of on my own. I decided vegetarian when I was 6. And so starting from when I was 6, like, the eating in my family became more complicated because I wasn't going to eat meat and everyone else was. So, like, the eating has always sort of been just, like, kind of fending for yourself. We'll all kind of cook our own food, or, like, sometimes someone in the family will just decide, like, I want to make this, and they'll make it for everyone else. My dad tries to make things with tofu that taste terrible all the time. My mom hates cooking. On Thanksgiving, our tradition for Thanksgiving is that everyone, like, will cook a dish. Since a couple of years after I became a vegetarian, we decided to like stop doing turkey or anything, so we'll always cook something else. We'll have like fish, or I guess I'm a pescatarian, I eat fish, so we'll have like fish or something. Yeah, so we'll all cook our own dish, and then my mom over the years has become increasingly apathetic, and she'll use a can opener to like open the can of cranberry sauce and be like, there we go, that's my dish for Thanksgiving. And we're always all really salty about it. Like, Mom, cook something, please. We're all putting so much work into this meal. But I guess that's sort of like my family's like we're all very like communal communal kind of, in a way. We all care about each other. So in that way, like, the responsibility doesn't ever go into one person. We all kind of just share it. I really like ramen a lot, or Ramen, which is like Hawaiian ramen essentially. I've like liked it since I was a little kid. I just like really love ramen. I think that might be my favorite food. When I was a little kid, I would always want to play with my older sister's toys, but I would have to wait for her to go to sleep first. So I started staying up really, really late, and even now, like, I always stay up late. And so I would stay up late to play with her toys, and then I would get hungry, and all we would have in my house that I could make as like a 4-year-old was instant ramen. So I started eating a lot of ramen because of that as a little kid, and then I think it kind of, my tastes are a little more refined now. I don't like eat a ton of instant ramen. I like real ramen, but I think it's kind of like grown from that. Now that when I'm in college, like I don't know, I don't eat ramen that much. And I try not to eat packages of ramen because I know it's just full of MSG and it's terrible for me. But I try to eat, whenever I go to like a restaurant that serves, like a Japanese restaurant that has ramen, I try to eat ramen. And my family like really loves Hawaii, which now I know is like colonial and terrible to go to Hawaii on vacation, but I still really like it. And I really love Simon, which I said is like kind of like a Hawaiian version of ramen. And so yeah, whenever we go to Hawaii, which isn't that often, but like, you know, I've been to Hawaii like several times, it's always like, that's like one of the reasons we go to Hawaii is to like eat Simon at this one Simon restaurant. I've never felt like someone who identifies really strongly with any particular culture because like there are so many in my family.